what's up? This is Ben Zinn for nextlevelguitar.com. Thanks for joining us today. Have a really cool inspired by lesson concept for all of you out there today on some strumming and some ways to add some intrigue and interest to some of our basic open chord progressions. Hey, if you would like a free video lesson that is not available on YouTube with a corresponding ebook, all you have to do is click on the link that you see below here in the YouTube text box. Click on that link and we will send all of that to you for free, available exclusively through nextlevelguitar.com. Let's start out today by taking a look at reviewing some of those open chord positions and then looking at how we can change them up a little bit. I'm going to start out and just run through these chords here. Okay, so first we have an A minor chord, a D7, G, and C. Those chords sound really good when you play them in succession. But just so we have options, we're all about options. What we're going to do is add a note to the first string and we're going to keep it consistent throughout the whole progression. And this will kind of give a unifying sound to all four of those chords. So let's go back to our A minor chord and let's apply our pinky finger to the 3rd fret of the first string. What we are now left with is an A minor 7th chord. But we can just think about it as A minor with an added pinky. That's kind of how I look at it in this position. Now, as we transition to the D7, what I want you guys to try to do is leave that pinky finger totally in place. Imagine it's glued to the string, it can't move, so all the other fingers are going to move into position for D7, but my pinky finger is going to stay put. This is the chord that results. So I don't necessarily need to press down on the old fret. So now let's take the same approach as we move to our G chord. We'll anchor with our pinky here at the 3rd fret and move into our G chord. And you'll notice here nothing's new. The pinky finger is already on the G chord from before. But what we're seeing is that that note is now going to be consistent through all of our chords. As we move to C, let's leave it there. Now this still makes a C chord, it's just a variation on our open chord. So we'd still call this a C chord. So now we have a different option for that chord progression, leaving that pinky in place throughout. So now that we've made our changes to our chord progression, let's take a look at the rhythm approach that we'll apply to these chords. And this is just going to be about creating a little bit of separation between the bass note and the rest of the chord. So I'm really going to lay into the lowest note of the chord, and then I'm going to follow it up with some 8th note strums. And we'll notice that those strums are quieter. I'm using a lighter touch so that I can continue to hear that lowest note ring out over the chord. Now we'll take this approach through the whole progression. Alright, now let's take you through one more example progression that we can use the same treatment. We'll give the same treatment to this progression as we did to our first one, and we'll see what comes out. So our second progression will start with E minor, A minor, D7, G. Now E minor, C, A minor, D7 to G. Now let's give the same treatment to each of these chords. We'll leave our pinky anchored to create a new sound. Still in E minor, just a variation. A minor 7. Once again, just think about these as the same basic chord, just with that pinky note holding down the 3rd fret. Going to D7. D7 sus4 would be the correct name for that. Going to G. Back to E minor. Now to C. Back to A minor. D7, sus4. And resolve to G. Once you feel comfortable with those chord movements, go ahead and apply our strumming approach to the same progression. Alright, so now let's take that just one step further and we'll introduce a little bit of variety in that bass note idea. We'll add some additional low register notes to provide some more movement within the progression. So we have the basic outline. Now when we get to each change, we'll stop and go through that. We're again going to start with the E minor, A minor, D7, sus4. Now on G, what we're going to do here is we're going to cut our strumming short to add in another bass note. I'm going to come here to the 2nd fret, 6th string, to connect into my E minor. Let's back up to the G chord. So by using that note as a connecting piece between my two chords, I'm providing more movement within my progression. Starting at the 2nd E minor in the progression. Now on the C chord. Same sort of movement. 3rd fret, strum. 2nd fret. Still hold down the higher part of the C chord, just strike the 2nd fret and then strum. Moving toward our A minor chord. D7 to G. Just adding in a little bit of movement to connect our chords. Here it is all together. Okay everyone, thanks again so much for joining us. Please check out our website, nextlevelguitar.com. If you want to learn more, that is the website for you, nextlevelguitar.com. We have a lot of great additional video content there, stuff that's not available on YouTube. You can go there, learn whatever you want. Players of all skill levels, all styles, nextlevelguitar.com. Thanks again, and I'll see you later.